Hi, welcome to today's Slow Flow. For today's practice, you're going to want a block or a shoebox. Thick, sturdy book will work great. And we're going to get started in a hero's pose. So shift to a seat on your knees. Of course, if this doesn't feel good in your knees, don't do it. Take an easy seat. Starting here with hips on the heels, knees pointed forward. Wherever you are, slight squeeze in the shoulder blades for a nice tall spine. Engage your core here. It's really easy in hero's pose to stick your belly forward, getting that sway in the back. Keeping that core engaged can help out. Giving yourself a few rounds of breath. Just reminding yourself with these practices, you're encouraged to move slowly and take your time. So not rushing anything. As you're ready, hands come behind your back, interlacing your fingers. Press your knuckles towards the floor, squeezing those shoulder blades together. You might even lift your gaze just a bit. Now you're welcome to stay right here. This is great for opening the chest. Or fold forward, reaching those arms overhead, almost like you're in a narrow child's pose. Arms coming over just as far as feels good. Some bodies' forehead may be able to rest on the mat. Some bodies, that's not going to be available. So just meeting yourself right where you are. Full cycle of breath. When that's complete, lift your upper body out of the shape. Can release that grip, shaking out your hands here for a moment. Then hands come to the mat. And shift to a tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your tailbone and look up. Exhale, round your spine, press away from the mat. Return to a neutral tabletop. Then a slightly different shape here. Reach your right arm forward like you're shaking someone's hand. Thumb reaches up towards the sky. Then right hand reaches towards the top left corner of the mat, dropping that left forearm to the mat. Reach your right fingertips forward. Notice your right hip might want to hug forward, gently nudging it back. Getting in a nice lat stretch here all along that right side body. Almost like a half puppy pose, twist situation. Hips stay lifted. Doing your best to keep your right hip from inching too far forward. One more cycle of breath. And then return back to center. Right hand to the mat, left hand to the mat. Cat between sides. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, look up. Exhale, round the spine, press away. Return to neutral. Left arm reaches forward, thumb up towards the sky. Then left hand towards that top right corner. Right forearm down to the mat. Again, left hip's going to want to inch forward, gently nudging it back. Maybe see if you can inch your left fingertips forward, creating a little more space here. Let your head be heavy. Hips stay lifted. Breathe here. Next breath, shift back to a tabletop position. Left hand to the mat, right hand under. Last cat series. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your tailbone. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, round the spine. Return to center. Then hands walk forward about a handprint. Tuck your toes and lift those hips up to downward facing dog. Taking your time as you get here. Compress your heels towards the mat, palms into the mat. Fingers nice and wide. Spread like you're opening a jar, taking up as much space as you can with that palm print. Encouraging yourself to take plenty of time. Bring a real generous bend to the knees, and then begin to walk forward, just one baby step by the other. Eventually coming to Uttanasana, forward fold at the top of the mat. Opposite hand to opposite elbow here, taking your time. You might even sway a little side to side. Then releasing your grip. Challenge yourself to move as slowly as you can, rolling up to a standing position. So letting those arms stay nice and heavy, stacking the vertebrae on top of each other, shoulder blades up or shoulders up towards the ear, then palms point forward. Breathe in and out. Inhale, arms reach all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge from your hips, knees nice and soft as you fold forward. Inhale, find a half lift, pause here. Hands on the thighs or the shins. Gazes down as you squeeze the shoulder blades, really thinking of flat back here. Crown of the head points forward, sit bones press back. Then next breath, fold, release. Inhale, reach all the way up once more, bending the knees, then reaching as tall as you can. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, cactus, elbows pull down, heart lifts. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, fold once again. Pausing here, plant your hands, then step back to a plank position, toes or knees wherever you feel stronger. Taking a moment to press away from the mat, back of the heart presses up towards the sky. Then slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, hands back by hips or hands clasped behind you. Inhale, lift for locust. If hands are clasped, knuckles press towards the heels. If they're released, palms point towards the floor. Engaging that whole back body for a moment, strengthening your core. As you're ready, release, hands under shoulders, tuck the toes. Inhale, press up to plank, toes or knees. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, find a half lift, pausing here, really pressing those sit bones back, crown of the head points forward. Next breath, fold, release. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now you can keep your hands at your heart or play with hands on the hips, whichever one feels a little more centering for you. Shifting into some balance shapes. Weight pours to your left foot. Right foot lifts off the mat. 90-degree bend in the knee, gentle flex in the toes. Keeping that left hip stacked under you rather than swaying out towards the side. Now keeping the bend in the knee. Bring your right heel towards your glute, knee points down towards the floor. Doing your best to squeeze that heel as close to your body as you can. Give yourself a moment using that low body. Then right hand grabs the outside of the foot, helping with that quad stretch, maybe pulling the heel a little closer. Breathe in, breathe out. Releasing your foot, extend it behind you for crescent. Arms come up to frame the face. Back heel presses away from you, core engages just like in that hero's pose. Then take your hands behind your low back, knuckles towards the floor, heart towards the sky. Take a breath in, release it out. Inhale, arms reach up. You can look up or look forward. Exhale, step forward back to the top of the mat, Tadasana. Preparing for the other side, hands at heart or at hips. Pour your weight into your right foot. Left foot lifts off the mat, keeping that bend in the knee. Right hip stacks under you. Nice tall spine. Crown of the head stays lifted. Keeping that bend in the knee. Pull your left heel towards the glute, knee points down, really squeezing, seeing that activation. You can feel it here. Heel as close to your glute as you can get it. Then left hand comes to help you out, reaching for that foot. Maybe heel gets a little closer to the glute. Knee stays pointed down here. As you're ready, slowly release the grip. Left leg behind you. Arms come up to frame the face. Shoulders soften from the ears. Core engages here. Hands come behind back. Maybe opposite thumb on top, a little bit of a funky grip. Knuckles press towards the floor, heart lifts. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, arms reach up, look forward. Exhale, step forward to the top of the mat, hands at heart center. Inhale, arms reach up nice and tall. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, find a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step just your right foot back behind you. Toes point forward, returning to that crescent pose. Back heel presses away from you. Shoulders are soft. Then shifting your hands towards your heart. Keeping your core engaged, begin to hinge forward. Slowly pouring into your warrior three. So take your time as you get there. Straightening that base leg as much as works for you. Right toes stay pointed down, whether they tap the mat, maybe they just hover or are extended long like a capital T. Arms open to airplane. Wobble and wiggle as you need to, building strength in these slow flows. Then take your time. We're gonna fold into standing splits. So hands might find that block in front of you or the mat in front of you. Nose points towards the knee. Back heel lifts just a little higher. Again, it might not look anything like the actual splits. That is totally fine. We're focused more on a heavy upper body. Pressing into that standing foot. Back heel lifts just as high as feels good. Then right foot comes to meet left. Always feels good to release. Inhale, find that half lift, strong legs, strong back. Exhale, fold, release. Planting your hand, step just your left foot back this time. Inhale, lift for crescent. Building that base here nice and strong. Shoulders are soft, core is strong. Back heel presses away from you. Hands come to the heart center. Taking your time as you shift between the shapes here, really feeling that weight pour into your front foot, lifting the back foot, toes stay pointed down, crown of the head reaches forward. Maybe you add in those airplane arms. Maybe you clasp your hands like we've been doing earlier in practice. Play around here. Got a little extra time, so embracing it. Maybe just powering through it. Slowly fold into that standing splits, hands to the block or mat. Nose points towards the knee. Back heel lifts. My toes have a tendency to want to flare out here, so doing my best to keep them pointed down. Head stays heavy. Rooting down through that standing foot and lifting through that back heel. Give yourself 2 cycles of breath. You've got this. Taking your time as that left foot lowers to meet right. Forward fold. Inhale, find a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, release. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Slowly finding our way into dancer's pose, very similar to how we started. First, bringing that right foot off the mat. I like my hands at hips. Maybe they can be at heart. Then pulling that right heel towards the glute. Right hand comes to support you. Now keeping that right knee pointed down towards the floor. Might have a tendency to want to splay off. Probably not that wild, but you know, close. Keep that knee pointed down, and you might stay right here. Or walk your hand to big toe side of the foot, opening that shoulder. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Here's the key, kicking that hand or kicking that foot into your hands, creating space between the heel and the glute. That's what helps you to reach forward. So focusing more on creating that space between the heel and the glute, hand resist that foot, then letting that forward reaching motion come just as it feels natural. Not forcing it, well, as natural as standing on one foot, holding the other and reaching forward can feel, you know. Give yourself a moment. 2 more cycles of breath, rooting down through that standing foot. Maybe feeling a little fire in that calf. Slowly release. Sometimes it's graceful, sometimes it's not. Pedal out those legs, maybe dance it out. Maybe you pause in stillness. We'll prepare for that other side. Finding a mountain pose, soles of the feet press into the mat. Hands at heart or hips. Then left foot lifts. Flexing the toes, right hip stays under you, that helps build our base. Left heel pulls towards the glute. Left hand comes to help you out. Pause here, feeling that right hip under your body, so it's not swaying out towards the side. We're building a nice strong base here. Knee points towards the floor. You can stay here. Walk your hand to big toe side of the foot if that's available in the shoulder. Elbow pit points away from you. As you're ready, right arm reaches towards the sky. Nice and slow, kick that back heel away from you. Reaching just as far forward as works for you. Reminding ourselves that challenge of moving slowly here is part of the practice. Your body may want to get into these poses a little quicker, may feel frustrating to have all those stops along the way, but embracing the process, breathing through it. 2 more rounds of breath here. You've got it, rooting through that standing leg, opening the shoulder, heel pulls away from the glute, and then release. Take your time, both feet come to the floor. Pedal it out, dance it out, whatever you need to. As we prepare for Malasana, this is a good time to bring that block or whatever you're using behind your heels. Finding a height that feels supportive. Then take your feet nice and wide, and wherever you have them, widen them just a little bit more. Toes are out at 45 degrees. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, hips sink down. Finding your version of Malasana. Hips resting on the block. Maybe you stack another block here. Maybe you're holding a little higher. Totally fine. Our goal is to have a tall spine. Weight is in the heels and the blade edges of the feet. Heart pulls towards the thumbs. Give yourself time here, really opening that chest. Elbows press into the knees. Left hand can reach towards the floor, right arm up towards the sky. Now notice that right knee is likely going to want to knock in a little bit. Can you keep that weight towards the heel and blade edge? Then come back to center. Other side, right arm towards the floor, left arm towards the sky. Notice the left knee. Press into that blade edge and heel, keeping that hip open. Then make your way back to center. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Slowly, wherever you are, release into a seat, taking that block out from under you, finding an easy seat, putting that opposite leg in front that you typically want to. Finding a nice tall seat. Eyes can soften or close. Hands can rest on your knees, and then slide them a little closer to your body so your upper arm's in line with your side body. Take a breath in and out. We'll close here for practice, giving yourself 2 more slow, deep cycles of breath, allowing yourself a little time to sit. Of course, you're welcome to take more time if that would serve you better. When you're ready, we'll close with a breath together. Exhale to prepare. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thanks for being part of this rad community, and I hope the rest of your day is absolutely lovely.